Today I'm going to do a drawing using three a bit unusual things. I've got a makeup sponge from Superdrug. I've got a little bit of sandpaper, quite coarse, it's about 80 grit this one, and a mirror. If you stick around to the end, I'll share with you a technique I'm using all the time. That was a huge breakthrough for me personally. In my hand I've got this sponge wiper from Amazon that I'm using with pan pastels as well. Most of this drawing has gotten to this stage now by using sandpaper. I use it in place of a rubber, and the reason I've chosen to use sandpaper is to try to reveal some of the layers that I've got underneath. So this drawing is being done on a collage, and I want to kind of bring out some elements of the collage into the figure. So I don't want to use white pastel, which makes the figure more solid. I want it to be a little bit transparent. So where the highlights are, I'm going over with the sandpaper. So you can see that I am often looking back at the camera, and I'm looking into my mirror, and this is something I have developed as a habit now that is hugely helpful when I draw, because I find that as soon as I look through a mirror, the artwork comes out completely different than what I see when I look directly at it. So one way to improve on the overall quality on my drawing, I found, is to use mirrors. I do a little bit and then I check the mirror, and this is how I work constantly. If I don't, I can easily get lost in forgetting about the mirror or forgetting about looking at my camera. The reason I like to look at my phone camera is that it will show me a kind of thumbnail image of what I'm working on, and it's a really useful way to tell if you're going in the right direction. So constantly look at the phone to get an idea for what's actually going on, or into my mirror, and it's pretty much with every single move I make that I check it in the mirror. I think I spent more time looking at my drawing through the mirror than I actually do drawing, and I think this is the key to learning how to draw. It's within your ability to see what it is you're doing that the key to the artistic development lies. When I look in the mirror, my eyes, I pay a lot of attention to where my eyes go, and especially if they go where they're not supposed to. So I want to have some sort of intensity around the center, around the face, around the moon, and that's where you find I'll put the darkest darks up against the brightest brights. But everywhere else I need things to stay in a little bit neutral. So anywhere where there's high contrast, that's where your eyes get drawn. And so I really pay close attention to which areas are the darkest and which areas are the brightest. Quite a lot of the sandpaper activity I have already completed before this video actually took place. but that video recorded at very low quality, but you can see a little bit on here. When I work, I try to have everything be a little bit translucent. If I do any solid white, I normally do a bit of a wash of translucent color over the top. And most of the collaging is also done on semi-transparent paper. Now, as promised, here is my top technique that has probably been the biggest breakthrough for me personally in my creative journey. I learned this while working as an artist assistant. I was working on sculptures and paintings. So the technique I would use would be to turn away from my artwork, walk a few steps towards a white wall and just let my eyes rest on the white wall for the count of 10. I'd normally just count to 10 in my head while my eyes just I could feel them neutralizing, and then turn around and look at the work I'd done with fresh eyes. It was a similar technique to looking into the mirror or looking at my phone, but it worked slightly differently, and I'd almost always know the moment I turned around whether I was moving in the right direction or wrong direction. And developing that instinct was a huge breakthrough for me. I started experiencing the artist I was working for giving me way better feedback than I had up until that point, and I really started to feel like I was in the zone. So I hope you found this useful. Please do click like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.